Hey everyone, I am really excited to do this tag because it was created by a friend of mine, Sanni, Miss May 27. She tagged me a month ago and I missed the video because I was traveling in Dallas at the time, but I finally got to watch hers, found out I was tagged and wanted to do this straight away. So the tag, as is evident by the title above my head, is my top 15 MAC eyeshadows. It was kind of tough, but I just took it literally and picked basically the most used 15 in my palette. Not necessarily the most versatile or the most balanced 15, but my personal most used 15 shadows that have serious dents in most of the shadows. So I tried to do this in some semblance of order. I'm gonna start with highlights, brow bone highlights, inner corner, go on to lid shades, transition colors, and then sort of outer corner. Although all of these can be used in a myriad of ways. So first is my favorite brow bone highlight. I almost always go for a matte skin tone shade, and this is Blanc Type, or Blanc Type if you want to be very technical, and this is just a matte bone beige kind of, I'd say, and here it is swatched. And what I like about it is it's a little more opaque and pigmented than Brulee, and I'm referring to the MAC Brulee, not the Wet n Wild Brulee. I just feel like this is a little more versatile on my skin tone because I am extremely pale and I love it. It's a great color. My favorite inner corner highlight, hands down, reach for it almost every single day, is MAC Nylon. This is a very shimmery, it doesn't, I'm trying to see here, it doesn't say like frost, luster, whatever, but it's a very gold toned, very soft, very reflective, and that is right here. Can you see that shimmer? A little goes a long way. You don't need a heavy hand. I am swatching these very heavy-handedly. I've used this, like I said, inner corner. I have used it all over the lid with a fluffier brush, so the gleam isn't quite as intense. It's a very versatile shade, and I think everyone should have, well, I think everyone should have all of these, but it's my favorite inner corner highlight of MAC. Now, if I'm going for a more cool toned, purpley tone one, this is also great all over the lid, and this is Vex, which looks like absolutely nothing in the pan. It's sort of like a silvery dove gray, not all that exciting, but I believe it's a duochrome, because here it is swatched on my finger, and then when you swatch it, oh yeah, definitely duochrome. And I will insert pictures at the end so you can see better, but there's a purpley green silver finish to it. It's just beautiful in the inner corner and even swept across the lid, paired with a couple other colors that will be mentioned soon. So those are the primarily highlighting kind of colors. Then the shades I tend to use all over the lid, and I should point out that Nylon is right here today. This was probably the first one I used all the time, and I recommended this in my Grown Ass Women series. This is Grain, and Grain, I like a little shimmer on the lid. Grain is sort of a warm skin tone, I would say, and swatched heavily, it's a little warmer than beige. It has a nice soft gleam. If you're looking for a really subtle daytime eye, I think this is a beautiful shade. It doesn't look like there's almost a peach undertone to it. It's beautiful, very easy to use. This one I have on today on my lid. This was one of the very first colors that I got, and this is All That Glitters. You can kind of see the dent in it. It's a warm pink, pinky beige. There it is on my finger. And there it is swatched. It's pink or beige or peach. It sort of depends on what you put underneath it. And that's what I love about this. I'll use like a pink based paint pot underneath and it's much more pink. I'll use a champagne shade under it and it's a much more beigey champagne color. It's a very versatile lid color. It's also great as an inner highlight as well. And then I know that wearing pink on the eye can be very dangerous, but I like the babyer pinks, I guess you should say. paired with more brown, coppery, bronzy tones in the crease. That's the kind of look that I go for all the time. And what I wear a lot, especially in the summer, is Jest all over the lid. And swatched on my finger, looks like this. They're all very similar, I'm perfectly aware of that. But this is a much cooler pink tone. There it is. And like I know that the colors aren't great. I will put pictures at the end. I promise. There it is. And if you can see it next to all the glitters. So this is Just. Just is a much cooler tone. This is much warmer. But they're in the same, I'd say they're the same shadow, just one's cooler, warmer. Now on to my matte Cree Shades. I think these are key. I think that it just finishes off the look. What I usually do is use a big fluffy brush like a MAC 224 and put the crease color in first, then put my lid color down. So these are what I reach for first. This has a very odd, this is my most used and it has a really weird dent in it. This is Wedge. I don't even know how I did that. Wedge is, I think, a little more pigmented than soft brown, which a lot of people also like. I just feel like it's a cool, kind of a neutral brown. I don't think it's cool or warm. I just think it's very neutral. And it's right here. A little on the warmer side, I guess, but not overly so. It's not like it doesn't have red in it per se. I use it almost every day. I'm wearing that today. Another one that I reach for a lot, especially when I wear Jest, is Hoax. I think it's Hoax actually, but Ho. Let's just call it Ho for today. This is a little deeper, a little plummier, a little purple tone, more so I'd say than Wedge. I'll swatch it right next to it. It's right there. So that's Ho or Hoax, and that's Wedge. And then this next one is a strange color. It's relatively new to my collection, but it is maybe the most versatile shade that I own. And this is Omega, or as they say across the pond, Omega. And this looks like nothing in the pan, which is why I ignored it for so long. This color I use today for my eyebrows. I use it all the time for contouring. I use it in my crease, and I also sometimes use it all over my lid too. It is a cooler toned transition color, kind of like an ashy taupe. And I will swatch that next to the other ones. And that's Omega. It's a really versatile color. I'm kind of surprised how much I use it. The next one I need to depot. It's one of the few that I still have in the original container that I didn't buy in a palette form, and this is Quarry. And Quarry is another one of those, doesn't look like much in the pan, but it's a cooler matte shade. It has some, I'd say, purpley, plummy undertones. Works great layered with Ho, with Jest, and with a couple more colors that are coming up that I will talk about in a moment. This, hands down, is my most used shadow. I was shocked at how much I love this. This is Woodwinked. This is my favorite MAC shade, hands down. It is just beautiful. I have it in the outer corners today, and how do you describe duochrome? It's gold, it's pigmented, it's bronzed. It almost has a duo, I don't know, I don't want to say duochrome because I could be completely mistaken. I didn't do my research before I looked it up, but just look at that. I mean, you could use it all over the lid, which I do all the time. This is great on blue eyes, it's great on green eyes, it's great on, well, pretty much every eye color, but it really, because it has that orangey undertone, really makes blue eyes pop. It blends beautifully. It's just one of those easy colors. If you wanted to do one color all over the lid, it's Woodwinked. I love it. Obviously, it's beautiful in the fall, but I love it especially in the summer as I'm getting tan. It just brings out the tan in my skin, whatever tan there is. But just look at that gleam. It's beautiful. The other one of the most used outer corner type colors that I use to brighten things up is Sable, which was also one of the very first, if not the first, MAC shadow that I bought. And it's very similar to Woodwinked, except it's a lot more bronzy, and this is a little more gold. It has a good brown. I actually layered the two, and I used this to deepen the crease a little bit. So I put Woodwinked down first, and then wanted a little darker and layered, wrong finger, and layered this one on top. So So that's Sable. I do like my shiny colors, but there's no glitter, which I think is key. I try to avoid glitter. There's no fallout with these. Okay, we're down to my last 3. This one is a classic, and I use it not as much as I should. I don't love cool tone on me, and for some reason this is Satin Taupe. Let me just start with that. This is Satin Taupe. It pulls a weird color on me, and everyone else is this beautiful taupe shade. On me, it turns purple. But it is one of those colors that just pair, see, or that doesn't, to me, doesn't look taupe. But there it is swatched. I pair this a lot with Ho, Quarry, and a color that I am going to discuss in a little while. There's only 2 left. It is very versatile. It's a beautiful shade. The cool thing about Satin Taupe is it tends to be a different color on everyone. And it might be the most sold MAC shade. I'm guessing, but I think that of all the MAC shades, this one is probably the most popular. It's a cult classic. Okay, this one is kind of new, and I bought it because so many of you recommended it to me, and this is MAC Mulch. I definitely like my bronzy, shiny colors here. And it's a little, I'd say more brown than Sable. There it is, as compared to all those. It's a beautiful color in the outer corner. It's great for a brown smoky eye as well. It's very, very, they're all, I think, very versatile. And then the last one that I want to talk about is the darkest. I don't really use a lot of dark outer corner colors, but this one is beautiful. This is Sketch. And Sketch pairs so beautifully. Look, I'll just hold it up next to it. It pairs beautifully with Quarry. It goes so nicely with Ho. And I really like it layered with, let's see if I can hold these up, with Jest and even Vex as the inner corner. This is a deep browny plummy shade. It's beautiful in the fall. I think this is a satin finish. It's not quite as shimmery as these. It blends nicely. It's great along the lash line. It's incredibly, like I said, all of these I love because there's so many ways to use them. It's not just something all of these shades can be used on the lid. They can be used as highlights. They could be used in the crease. They all go so nicely together. You can mix and match them. So those are my top 15. I have no idea who to tag because I think Sanni picked everyone I would have tagged, but if you look in the description box, I will list the people that I can think of who haven't already done this. Thank you so much for watching. Sanni, thank you for tagging me. I'm really flattered to be part of your first creative, original tag. I think you did an amazing job. And if you have some suggestions of what your top 15 are, these are not my only MAC shadows, these are just my top 15, remember. But if you think of some shades that you think should have cracked the top 15, let me know. Let me know if you agree with my picks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.